A very good morning, Jai Hind dear students. Today we are going to do the revision of our PT2, as I have already taken a test based on that, but still, okay. Before we proceed with the revision, I just want to tell you about the syllabus, because most of you were having doubts about the syllabus. So I thought, let me tell you the syllabus first, and then I will proceed with the revision part. So dear students, here you can see here in the video, it's written PT2. PT2 and half yearly is one and the same thing. Okay, so do not get confused कि ये half yearly का syllabus है या PT2 का. Both are same. PT2 half yearly same. मैंने slash लगाया इसीलिए कि because these both are same. So now this will be coming in your PT2. What is the syllabus? See, from book Beehive we having 2 chapters, My Childhood and a Truly Beautiful Mind. Then we have poems. Okay, 2 poems, Rain on the Roof and The Legend of Northland. Then from the book Moments we have 2 chapters, In the Kingdom of the Fools and The Happy Prince. Okay, so this was your PT1. Do not go for it. PT2 is from here where I have mentioned PT2. Then activity based chapter was there, Weathering the Storm. It is activity based. It will not come in the exam, so do not worry about this chapter. This is purely activity based. It's not going to come in the exam. Weathering the Storm will not come in the exam. Then writing portion will come, of course, that is paragraph writing. And grammar we have determiners and subject verb concord, which we have already done. Okay, so now I hope the syllabus must be clear. Beehive 2 chapters, poems 2 poems, moments 2 chapters, writing paragraph writing, grammar determiner subject verb concord. Activity based Weathering the Storm will not come in the exam. Okay, is that clear? Now let us move towards our revision. Okay, so let us start with A Truly Beautiful Mind. What is the theme of the story? Beta, theme of the story is written here, that is, great men are not born with special signs. In their childhood days, they are also like common children, and their likes and dislikes are very much similar to them. Okay, their parents also take care of them as normally parents do. Means there is no difference between an ordinary child or when great. They become great because of their practice, because of their specific virtues which they polished with the passage of the time. So gradually these children develop some specific virtues and become great when they grow up. So we are doing the revision of A Truly Beautiful Mind. It is related with whom? With a very genius personality, one of the genius person born on this world, Albert Einstein. Okay, so Einstein as a little boy, the story is about a genius, Albert Einstein, who was born on 14th March 1879 in the German city of Ulm. You have to remember these important things like his date of birth, where he was born, because the question paper is totally objective based, MCQ. So these small questions from mid of the chapter may come. Okay, so you should be prepared, right? His mother taught him to be freak. His head seemed too large. His head was too large. Okay, he was not talking till he was 2.5. He played by himself and loved mechanical toys. He learned to play violin at 6. At what age he learned to play violin? This question may come like this way. So you should remember that at the age of 6. Once his headmaster told his father that he would never be a success at anything. So who said that he will not success in anything? His headmaster. Okay, so you should know and you should remember the things in such a manner. Now see, Einstein's desire. What was his desire? Einstein was good at studies but left school for good as he always clashed with teachers. He wished to continue his education in Switzerland. That was his desire. He was highly gifted in mathematics and physics. Highly gifted means he was born with this, inbuilt, you can say, character trait that he loved. He was too good in mathematics and physics. He didn't find it difficult at all. He just do it so smoothly. Okay. He decided to study at the University of Zurich after schooling. He found his fellow student Mileva Maric a clever creature. Now see his work and marriage. At the age of 21, Einstein worked as a technical assistant. So you should remember at what age he started working as a technical assistant. So what could be the answer to this question? At the age of 21. And finally secured a job of a technical expert. So what was his first job? You should know all these things, because in objective type questions, generally these sort of questions were asked. You should remember this year now. His famous papers of 1905 was Einstein's special theory of relativity. You should remember this, which theory he has published. While he was solving problems in physics, his private life was unraveling. He wanted to marry Mileva, and finally he married her, but they could not live together, and finally the couple divorced in 1919. Okay, again, when he got divorced from Mileva Maric in 1919. Later, Albert married his cousin the same year. Now see, Nobel Prize for Physics. So finally he got the Nobel Prize also. Einstein published his General Theory of Relativity in 1915. So in 1915 this was published. The newspaper proclaimed his work as scientific revolution. He received the Nobel Prize for Physics in 1921. So very important date again. When did he receive the Nobel Prize for Physics? In 1921, and was lauded by the press all over the world. Lauded by means was become famous, was appreciated. Okay. Now see, immigration to US. Einstein immigrated to US in 1933. Again, very important year. You should remember, when the Nazis came to power in Germany. So this question may be asked like this way: who came into the power in Germany in 1933? So you should know the answer. The correct answer is Nazis. 5 years later, the discovery of nuclear fission in Berlin had American physicists in an uproar. Many of them fled as Einstein had, and they were afraid that the Nazis could build and use an atomic bomb. Later, what he did in the chapter, what's been told, Einstein's letter to Franklin D. Roosevelt. So Einstein wrote a letter to Franklin D. Roosevelt, the American president. So the question can be framed in this way, that Einstein wrote to which American president? So the answer should be Franklin D. Roosevelt, and warned him that a single nuclear bomb would make a mass destruction. But the Americans secretly developed an atomic bomb and dropped them on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1905. So the question can be asked in this way, that in which year the nuclear attack has been done on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So you should know 1945. It can be framed in this way: on which name the two cities on which the atomic bomb was dropped. Okay, so you should know Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Because it is a multiple choice question, again I am saying that it can be asked in any way. So you should read the chapter very thoroughly. In the last, Einstein's sorrow was mentioned in the chapter, how Einstein was deeply shaken by the destruction caused by the atomic bombs. He proposed to the United Nations for forming a world government, but his letter made no impact. Over the next decade, he got involved in politics for an end to the arms buildup and campaigned for peace and democracy. Now, Einstein's death. Einstein died in 1955, and the world celebrated him as a visionary and world citizen. Okay, so that was an overview of the chapter which we had already done. I just want you to revise it, read the chapter, and then you are done with your exam. Okay, so you have to read the chapter very thoroughly, right? Now our next chapter is My Childhood, and again this chapter is quite interesting because it talks about former president Shri APJ Abdul Kalam. Okay, so when we talk about APJ Abdul Kalam, we should know that he was a doctorate first of all. So Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam was the 11th President of India. He was born on October 15, 1931 in Rameswaram, Tamil Nadu. He studied physics and aerospace engineering and became a scientist. He served the Defense Research and Development Organization, which is also called DRDO, and the Indian Space Research Organization ISRO for nearly 4 decades. He is known as the Missile Man of India. Very important. Missile Man of India, he was known. So Kalam was very popular among the children. He often encouraged them with his high-powered philosophy. Besides, he was an excellent writer also. We read him in detail in his autobiography, Wings of Fire. Obviously, he was a true nationalist. He died on July 27, 2015 due to cardiac arrest. So these are some important dates like his birth date, his death date. You should remember. Okay. So basically the story, what was the theme of the story? The question can be asked in this way also. So the theme of the story reflects on what? On the harmony and prejudices present in the Indian society. This influencing theme is expressed through the accounts of Kalam's childhood. In fact, we can rise in life if we have strong determination and dedication. Okay. So that is about this chapter. Now let us see the main points of this chapter. So very first point was Mr. Kalam, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam was born in 1931 in Rameswaram, Tamil Nadu. Jainulabuddin was his father and Ashiamma his mother. In fact, I have given this question in your revision also. Many students have done this wrong. So you should remember Ashiamma, Jainulabuddin. The whole family lived in an ancestral house. He collected newspaper bundles from the moving train and earned 1 anna per day. Anna, the old currency. He learnt faith in goodness and deep kindness from his mother. So he got these attributes from his mother. Ramanand Sastri, Aravindan and Shiva Prakashan. Look at the spelling, bache. It is Aravindan. Arvindam likh dete hain kai bache. So that is wrong. Ramananda Shastri, Aravindan and Shiva Prakashan, all the 3 friends belong to the orthodox Brahmin families. Orthodox, who are the strong believers of their rituals and rites and customs. So, Kalam's family participated in the annual Sri Sita Ram Kalyanam ceremony. I have given this question also. Sita Ram Kalyanam ceremony. Kalam's mother and grandmother narrated stories of the Ramayana and the Prophet's life to Kalam. When Kalam was in 5th class, a new teacher at school made him sit on the back bench because he was a Muslim. So here that discrimination started. Okay. The science teacher Siva Subramanya Iyer motivated him to grew above the barrier. After World War II, he went to Ramananthapuram for further studies. His mother was hesitant, but father encouraged him, and Dr. APJ Kalam was elected the 11th President of India. Okay, so now dear students, let us quickly talk about the main character sketches from my childhood. So when we talk about the character sketches, we talk about the main important characters and their traits, characteristics and traits. So the very first important characters in this chapter is in fact Kalam's parents, mother and father both. So let us talk about them. So Kalam's parents, Jainulabuddin and Ashiamma, were tall and good looking. Though they did not have abundant resources, both of them were very generous and fed a lot of outsiders along with their own family members. Practicing the values of honesty and self-discipline, they led a simple life which did not have any place for inessential comforts or luxuries. However, Kalam's father made sure that all basic necessities were provided for. He was very liberal and did not believe in thrusting his thoughts on his children. He had a secular approach and contributed fully during the celebration of Hindu festivals like Sri Sita Rama's Kalyanam ceremony. Kalam's mother was ideal support to her husband. She had faith in goodness and was a very kind-hearted woman. Okay, so I hope Kalam's parents name their character sketch, their character traits must be clear to you. Now let us talk about APJ Abdul Kalam. Okay, the second character in the story. So Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, when we talk about his childhood, he was an ordinary boy, a boy of ordinary looks. Abdul Kalam had many sterling qualities right from his childhood. He had immense affection and respect for his parents. He inherited the values of honesty and self-discipline from his father and faith in goodness and deep kindness from his mother. Kalam was an enterprising and a hard-working child. He collected tamarind seeds. You remember now? In chapter we have read this. He collected tamarind seeds when they were in demand and sold them to earn small yet significant amounts. Very confident of himself, he did every piece of work assigned to him with full dedication. He never felt that this job is not meant for me. No, whether a big job, a responsible job, or any small job has been given to him, he has done that job with full dedication. He helped his cousin to catch bundles from the running trains when the train halt at Rameswaram was suspended during the Second World War. He was also a sensitive child and learnt valuable lessons from his experiences. He learnt early in life that caste-based segregation is a poison that must not be allowed to thrive. Kalam was also progressive and took the decision at the right time to leave his hometown to study further and grow in life. Then, dear students, there was another character in the chapter, Siva Subramania Iyer. Do you remember who is he? Yes, he was Kalam's science teacher who encouraged Kalam a lot in his childhood. Now see, Siva Subramania Iyer, an orthodox Brahmin, he was Kalam's science teacher in school. He was a very tolerant and broad-minded person. He was a rebel, in fact, who wished to bring about a transformation in society and was mentally prepared to confront hindrances during this process. He knew that, yes, I have to change the society and definitely I will have so many obstacles. He was mentally prepared. He faced challenges even from his own family when his wife refused to serve food to Kalam, who had been invited by Iyer himself. But without losing faith in his belief that caste and religion do not segregate people, he served the child himself. Thus, he reformed his wife not by force but by setting an example. Iyer was also a dedicated teacher who established a good rapport with his students. He encouraged and inspired them as he taught and spent long hours with them. So he was having a great influence on APJ Abdul Kalam. Okay, so now quickly again let's have a quick look on this chapter. My Childhood is an extract taken from the autobiographical book Wings of Fire, written by whom? By Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Here Dr. Kalam, who is one of the greatest scientists of India and also the 11th President of India, gives an account of his childhood days. Okay, so then his journey from a middle class family in Rameswaram to the President's house has not been a smooth ride. He worked hard and faced all the challenges of life. This great scientist and the missile man of India was born in middle class Muslim family in 1931 in the island town of Rameswaram, Tamil Nadu. In his childhood, he was greatly influenced by his parents, his teacher and his friends. His father, Jainul Abidin, and was not much educated, but he was very generous and kind person. Right? He was not rich but provided a secure childhood to Abdul and his brothers and sisters. Abdul inherited honesty and self-discipline from his father and faith in goodness and deep kindness from his mother. Kalam earned his first wages by working as a helping hand to his cousin Samsuddin, who distributed newspapers in Rameswaram. In his childhood, he had three close friends, Ramanand Sastri, Aravindam and Shiva Prakashan. Once he was in 5th standard, a new teacher asked him not to sit in the front row along with the high caste Brahmin boys. Abdul found Ramanand Sastri weeping as he went to the last row. This made a lasting impression on Abdul. Abdul was also greatly influenced by his science teacher, Siva Subramania Iyer. He learnt the lesson of breaking social barriers from him. Iyer invited him to his home for a meal. His wife was an Orthodox Brahmin who refused to serve food to Muslim boy in her so-called ritually pure kitchen. Iyer served him with his own hand and sat down beside him to eat his meal. He convinced his wife to serve meal with her own hands and thus was successful in changing the conservative approach of his wife. For higher education, he sought permission from his father to leave Rameswaram and study at the district headquarters in Ramananthapuram. His father said, Abdul, I know you have to go away to grow. Does the seagull not fly across the sun alone and without a nest? To his hesitant mother, quoting Khalil Gibran, he said, your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. So that was a quick revision of this chapter, dear students. Just read the chapters very thoroughly. Prepare your lessons. On Wednesday, I'll be taking a test. So be prepared for that. Have a very good day. I'll meet you in my next video. Till then, take very good care of yourself. You all are very special to me. I just want to confess this thing. You all are very special. Very, very dear one. Loving. Bachche, just go, read, study. You have the potential to do anything. Okay? So believe in yourself and start studying and score good. I'll see you in next video. Till then, take very good care of yourself. Bye-bye.